Trans Pride, and I want to thank everyone for coming out today. Yeah, it's fantastic to see so much support for trans rights. So last year we set up Trans Pride to have sort of an anti-corporate grassroots protest and sort of bring Pride back to its radical roots. This is a place where trans voices are pushed to the forefront without being overshadowed by big company floats. And we wanted to do the same again this year, but also highlight the struggles of the intersex community and the struggles of the non-binary community. Our theme this year is Break the Binary, because the concept of a binary harms us all, not only non-binary or gender non-conforming or intersex people. Gender isn't a binary and neither is sex, but the capitalist system wants to push us into these pink or blue boxes that harm, to control us, and these boxes harm everyone, cis, intersex or trans. Doctors use the gender binary to operate on intersex people without their knowledge or consent, and non-binary trans people are forced to pretend to be binary in order to access hormone replacement therapy or surgeries. We should be able to decide for ourselves how we identify and what is done to our bodies ourselves, without being pushed into a narrow view of gender. We should be able to live free from gender norms that say that men and women have to look, talk, act and dress a certain way. That gender binary is used to keep us down and to stop us from expressing ourselves. We need to break the idea that people can only be male or female, because it is the same tool that is used to keep women in the home. Our struggles are the same struggles that women face. We won abortion rights last year. We won the right to decide what we do with our bodies. We won choice. Now let's fight to extend this right to the trans community. We have a right to healthcare that doesn't force us to have a psychiatric evaluation, that doesn't force us to be diagnosed, that is based on the informed consent model and is free to use. We also need the right for people to identify how they want. We are stronger when we stand together. The fight to end direct provision is the same fight against homelessness and housing for all, no matter what racist bigots say. The fight for informed consent-based healthcare is the same fight as the fight to separate church and state. To have a trans healthcare system that actually provides for the needs of the trans community, we need a secular, publicly funded healthcare system where people aren't left on waiting lists for something that's a basic human right. A win for all of us can help us fight for more. We need to keep pushing, keep fighting, because all our gains have not been won by meekly begging and waiting for the political establishment to hand us our rights. This vibrant presence today shows that there is a growing need to fight for trans rights. This is far beyond what so-called radical feminists think. Trans rights and women's rights are connected. The right to choose is a trans issue. The breaking of the binary is a women's issue. We want equality and liberation. We want to be free from the limitations of the strict gender binary. We want our basic human rights. But we also want acceptance. We want love and to be loved and to enjoy life, not to be forced to live in fear. We march for trans rights, but we also march for those who are still in the closet. We march for the hope that someday there will be no closets. We march for the hope that we will someday be able to live without fear, violence or discrimination. And we need to fight together for that world. 50 years ago, the Stonewall Inn was raided by the police, and instead of falling into line, the LGBT plus community fought back. Marsha P. Johnson didn't throw a brick just for the rights of communities to profit off our suffering and march at a corporate event. She fought for liberation for all oppressed people. She fought for the LGBT plus community to be free from oppression. We must fight back against all forms of oppression. We will not be forced back into the shadows. We will not be forced back into the closets. We will fight. We will build a movement from below for trans rights led by the trans community. Pride is a protest, and we need to take Pride back to its radical roots of protest and solidarity. We stand in solidarity with our trans siblings in Brazil with Bolsonaro and the violence that they face and the erasures of trans rights. And we also stand in solidarity with our siblings in the US who are under attack by the Trump administration. We stand with the trans community across the globe who are facing violence and discrimination. This isn't just a movement in Ireland, this is a global wave of trans people fighting back. But we can't do this alone. We must work together alongside all oppressed groups. We suffer under the same system. We've had many different speakers about all different topics, including direct provision, intersex rights, and racism. Now we must work together to win all these victories. Thank you.